Welcome into another episode of New England Sports Guys. I'm your host, Ian Mann, and we're going to talk about some more live golf and the PGA Tour and how they're having a little fight right now. We're going to talk about the Travelers Championship. We're going to talk about some fantasy drafts, our dynasty fantasy drafts. And then there's not a lot of news going on in the NFL right now, but Terry McLaurin just got a big deal, so we'll cover that and give our thoughts about that. We'll give an update on the Red Sox, and we'll talk about the Stanley Cup Finals. But before we get to all that, let me bring in my co-host Smitty to the podcast. Smitty, what have you been up to?
What is up, Ian? So let's see. Today played some golf, crossed it. No, I played pretty solid. I wish there were some shots that came back. So John and I looked at it. We were sitting having a beer after the round, and he had 29 putts and I had 37. So I had 8 more putts than he did.
Hmm.
I had
you two putted every hole essentially.
Essentially, yeah. I did have a couple 3-jacks, which I was pretty upset about. I had a 3-jack where I had a birdie putt.
Birdie opportunity.
Birdie opportunity. I don't remember what the hole, but yeah. So I played golf this weekend. Been watching a lot of the Stanley Cup, and we'll talk about how that's over. Let's see. Went to Tricky's camp this past weekend and hung out with him and his family, and it was a great time. Sat and drank a boatload of beer, ate a bunch of meat, and all the things that you really want to do at camp. Did a bunch of nothing. So that was a lot of fun. Casey and Patrick are gone. They're going to be up north at Casey's family's house for the rest of the week. I think she said they're coming back Sunday. So and then I head out tomorrow, going to Ohio on a company trip, just a quick one. We'll be back Friday. And then we got the 4th of July party on Saturday. Gonna hang out and crush a bunch of beers, and I'm gonna do some pulled pork, some smoked wings, and some smoked ribs for it. I think that'd be a good spread there. Let's see what else is going on. We had our fantasy drafts, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Did we have Father's Day since the last time we talked?
Probably.
I think we did.
Been on in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I think we did. I don't remember the last time we recorded, but Father's Day on the 19th, Casey or Patrick got me a couple really nice gifts. It was really cool. A little sketch of him and I. It was a picture, but it's like sketched. I don't know how to explain it that well, but anyway, that was really nice. And then at daycare, he did a like, it was a fill in the blank type thing that really got me. It was a lot of things that it's funny to see the things that he thinks about that are important to him, or I don't know if they're important or not, but they're like the things that show up that he talks about. But yeah, other than that, sports are over. There's baseball going on, but I don't really care that much about it. So we'll be playing a lot of golf going forward, and then looking forward to really just when football starts back up, basically. What about you?
Pretty much. Over the weekend, we had the in-laws over and hung out with them for the day, did some barbecue stuff. That was fun. One of the other days I went to the range to try to figure out the yardage of my clubs. Not a good range, by the way, the one that I normally go to for like figuring out the yardage of your clubs.
The one in Portland?
Yeah, the one in Westbrook.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, not super accurate, so I might go somewhere else and try to get some yardages down.
Why don't you just go to like X Golf?
Yeah, I could. So while I was there, I was also trying to hit a draw and a fade.
How'd that go?
I think it'd help you on hole 14. Hit a fade.
Yeah.
It takes the woods out of the play.
I don't like that.
Oh,
I don't know about that.
Smitty makes a mistake, hooks it right into him. Yeah, it's pretty much it. Just there's not a lot going on in the world of sports anymore. We didn't have it listed here, and I'm not sure if we'll really talk about it, but the Celtics got crushed. I'm not sure if we talked about that on the last podcast or not, but the moment they lost game 4, like we knew it was over.
Yep. Yeah, they let him get away.
Yep. But that's all right. So let's get into golf. Let's talk about what just happened. So the Travelers Championship was just held. One thing that annoys me about golf is that everything's a championship. Not everything can be a championship.
Sure,
I guess no, it can't. It's just a tournament. Not everything's a championship, though.
It's the championship for the Travelers Cup. So because they have a trophy for every one of these.
Sure. I guess. It's just a regular tournament.
I don't know how you have to be so negative, but go on.
So I was watching some of that. And Xander played well. He was 19 under. He held off that other
Thigala.
guy. Yeah. He apparently he's really streaky, is what I heard.
Did you watch the end of it?
Where he double bogeyed 18 or something and lost by 2 strokes?
He lost by a stroke because he doubled. Thigala was up.
Lost by 2.
Oh yeah, Xander birdied it. That's right.
Yep.
But Thigala was up by 2 strokes.
He was in the group ahead. Yep.
And he made a really poor choice. He hit it in the bunker off the tee, and his attempt at approach hit the lip of the bunker and basically bounced back to the same spot. And then he was able to get it out. And then, so that's 1, 2, 3 was on, or 3 was off. He chipped and then 2 putted. So he doubled it, and Xander ended up birdieing it. But even if he just had a single bogey, like chip it out to the side and put it on the green, 2 putt for bogey, and you're playing a playoff.
Yeah, but still not bad for 700, 800 grand, second place.
Yeah, sure. But you still want to win it.
I think an amateur finished in tied for second or tied for third. But he gets 0.
Third. Yeah.
He's got to get rid of that status. Like, that's just life-changing money. Like,
I think he's still in college is why.
Hmm.
Because if he got rid of amateur status, he wouldn't be able to play in college.
Sure. Yeah, I can see that. So Xander wins. Good for him. He has a hard time winning, I guess is the best way to put it. He's usually a front runner, but he has a hard time like closing the deal, I guess is the best way to put it. But I mean, in the Olympics, he won gold. So, I mean, he's got the skills. It's just a matter of whether or not he can put it together every week. I'm just glad Scotty Scheffler didn't win. That's all I'm glad about.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched a little bit of the U.S. Senior Open because that was on as well. And Padre Harrington won it by a stroke or 2 over Steve Stricker. But I guess Padre had, I guess he's really long off the tee compared to everybody else.
And you're interested in that?
Well, he's 50 and you have to be 50 to be on that tour, or he's 51. But these guys are still shooting like 68, 67. Like, they can still play at their age, which is really embarrassing for us at how good these guys are at their age.
But they're all professionals. It's not that big of a deal.
Sure, but some of them are close to 80.
They play old man golf.
Yeah, they do. So there are some new defectors to the Live Golf tournament or series, whatever it's called. Matthew Wolf's going. Do you know who that second guy is?
Eugenio Chikara. That's the best I got.
And then Carlos Ortiz. They're all leaving the PGA to join Live Golf. I'm not really sad to see Matthew Wolf go. He's kind of young. He's 23, and he's sort of like, young? Yeah, and he's sort of like shot up to stardom, but he hasn't played well in a long time. So I mean, He's got a funky swing. I don't know.
I don't know if we talked about it last week or last time we talked, but the Live Golf Tour, they are petitioning to get. Did we talk about this? Petitioning to get.
No, we just talked offline.
Gotcha. So basically, they're trying to get it so that their points count towards world golf ranking.
I don't know if it would because you're playing only 3 rounds of golf.
Not only that, but you're playing like teams too. So that's a different dynamic. There's only 54 in the field. That's a different dynamic than like most tournaments. So there's no cuts, sorry. Right now, I think it's only 48, but Liv said they weren't going to go above 54.
Yep.
So yeah, it's just, there's a lot of things that aren't consistent with the rest of the golf world that it'd be interesting to see if they get accepted.
Yeah. So the PGA had a meeting and they've come up with a response. They're going to revamp the schedule with more money in at least 8 existing events with 3 new events that have no cuts and limited fields. And they're going to at least have a 25 million purse. So they're trying to retain their talent. That's what they have to do. It just makes sense though, because the PGA is sort of like the NCAA. Like a lot of people are like, what exactly do they do? What exactly do they have ownership of? Because technically it's the players league. I understand the PGA does stuff. They organize a lot of the stuff. Obviously the players are the stars, but the PGA has been raking it in for decades, considering the percentage that goes to the players.
And it's funny, you think of it, it's not like the rest of the sports leagues where they have owners that need to make the money. Who makes all this money? Where does all that money go?
Jim Nance's backyard.
Yeah. What's his name? Moynihan, I think is
he's the president.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah,
least,
I mean,
they're trying to keep their talent.
They make billions of dollars, and each tournament pays out. The big tournaments pay out a little more.
They only pay out like 10 or 12. Like the Travelers was 8
for the whole purse.
Yeah,
and then
so Xander won 1.49 something. Second place won 700,000.
So the FedEx Cup, if you win the whole thing, like the season standings of the FedEx Cup, it's 10 million. And then the last tournament of the year, I think, is 1 or 2 million or whatever. But
the Players Championship was a lot. Wasn't that like 15 or something?
But yeah, I mean, it's essentially a major.
Yeah. But I think that's like one of the highest paying like single events there is on the tour.
It's probably that. It's probably the 4 majors, obviously. The Waste Management, I bet.
Which the PGA does not own. They don't own any of the majors.
Correct. The Waste Management, I bet they make a lot of money. But the PGA, I think, pays the purses on all 4 majors.
Maybe. So the U.S. Open happened last week, correct?
Father's Day. So not this past weekend, the one before.
Right. Because the Travelers. Yep. So there's the U.S. Open, and Matthews Fitzpatrick won by 1 stroke over Zalatoris and Scotty Scheffler. But that was a great matchup with Fitzpatrick and Zalatoris playing down the stretch. Zalatoris just got in trouble. I think he got in trouble on like hole 15 or something like that. Bogeyed it or something. And I mean, it literally came down to the final putt on 18 with both of them. And Zalatoris was this close. And it just didn't
go to a playoff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And same with Scotty Scheffler. If he makes that putt on 18, he goes to the playoff.
Nobody needs to see him win any more golf.
Fucking you guys and Scotty Scheffler, you, Bemis, and Canada can pound sand. because
Fitzpatrick and Zalatoris are like good stories.
yeah, they're
It's
okay.
not a good
I'd
story
love
if you
to-
win every damn tournament.
Everybody rooted for Tiger when he was fucking crushing everyone.
That's because people like Tiger.
I think people like Scotty Scheffler. So you guys don't like him because of me, because you
That's
guys are a
true.
bunch of pricks.
100% by proxy. So I mean, the U.S. Open was fantastic. These guys shot like what, 2 under or something like that. 4 under was the high score, I think.
I think somebody shot 5 or 6 on one day, but yeah,
but the grand total was like 4 under was like the winning score.
I think Fitzpatrick shot 5. I think it was.
Yeah, which is fantastic compared to the Travelers, which happened this weekend, which is 19 under.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the difficulty difference. And that's why I enjoy watching the majors and specifically the US Open, just because makes them look mortal. You see a lot of guys hitting in the bunkers, hitting it into the rough.
Like
I saw multiple people swing out of the rough and not even hit the ball.
Did you see what's his name? Grayson.
Oh yeah, he threw a club or broke a club.
He on one hole he threw his putter. On the next hole he broke whatever iron over his knee.
Yeah.
He was not happy that day.
No, but I don't think Grayson's even that good.
No, but he made the weekend into major. I mean, he
sure
doing pretty well.
I'm amazed how well Will Zalatoris did, considering they were showing it like his putting is like very wobbly when it goes to his putting stroke, when it goes
only
to the
on
ball.
Short putts though.
Sure, but he's probably gripping too tight if that's the case. Like he must be death gripping that thing. But I think he led the whole field in putting that during the US Open. So that's why he was really in it. But I thought it was great. But the second greatest thing was that the live golfers played fucking terrible at the US Open. The closest finish, I think, was like 28th.
Yeah.
I think that was DJ. Everybody else got smoked or weren't even invited because they're not that good. What does that mean though? If like Brooks Koepka saying he wants, and Bryson saying they want to play with the greatest players in the world. Well, that's not true if they all stink. Not that they all don't stink, but like in the US Open, they couldn't even finish in the top 20.
No, I mean, and Rory called him out and was like, I understand what you guys are doing, but basically you guys are negating on the things you said earlier. So how good's your integrity?
Before, yeah. A year before, I think Brooks said he wanted to only play with the best in the world or something like that. And
that
no
was
amount
Bryson.
of money,
Bryson.
No amount of money is going to change like their lifestyles or whatever. But they only said that like a year ago, and now they've both kind of switched their tunes. But I think it's a good opportunity for Rory and JT and Colin Morikawa and John Rahm and Scotty Scheffler to really just be like the face of the PGA Tour. And Will Zalatoris is up and coming. Matt Fitzpatrick is up and coming. Like, I think the tour is going to be fine without these guys.
Yeah,
without the live golfers. Like,
I think
we'll miss DJ, but I think DJ's best years were a couple years ago when he was unstoppable. A lot of the people that they took over haven't been playing well. Brooks has been hurt. Matt Wolff hasn't been playing well. Like, JT hasn't been playing particularly well. He's playing okay. Phil Mickelson's over 50. He doesn't have too many good rounds left in him. He only wants to play majors anyway.
Most of those guys just want to play the majors and a couple tournaments here and there. So,
which I can't blame him. Like, that's all Tiger did for a long time, or still does.
That's what he does now. I mean, when he was younger in his career, he played a lot of golf. But
sure, but after he hurt his back, he would be like, I only want to play my tournament. I only want to play Memorial. I only want to play, with the Travelers, but he doesn't play like the Dell or whatever.
Yep.
And then he just plays the majors. And now, obviously, those injuries keep creeping up in his career. So he's even more selective now after that car accident. So I don't know. I don't think he'll win again. So Tiger, that is.
Yep.
Anyway, let's move on to fantasy football drafts. So we just had both our drafts, both our dynasty leagues.
Finally fucking finished.
So Hoppers went pretty fine or pretty quick, but Cross is in both leagues, and he was holding up both drafts at one point, which is ridiculous. Which it was a slow draft, and that's the point of it. But I think what we'll have to do in the future is do a slow draft, but with like a time limit, like 2 hours a pick or something even lower. Just because
It doesn't make it a slow draft.
Well, the point of the slow draft is so that you can work at a trade, not so that you can just like not respond.
Sure. I mean, I think the point of both of them was to do it over like
A weekend, not 8 days.
yeah. I don't know. I didn't have much expectations, to be honest with you, on how quickly the drafts were going to be. So
Yeah, I lowered my expectations and I lowered my internal rage.
some of us had work to do those days, so it wasn't that big of a deal. I didn't focus on it too much.
Yeah, I mean, I tried not to let it get to me that some people, even if you're working, like you can still make your pick. Like I don't.
Oh yeah,
I don't see the problem.
no, I'm with you.
It's literally on your phone. It beeps. It beeps on my watch too. Like
so looking at your draft picks, you got Garrett Wilson,
100% win
Pierce,
that draft.
Mechie, Algier, Haskins, and Pacheco.
Yeah, he's a running back for Kansas City. Took a shot. Hopefully, he can be Kareem Hunt.
Let's see your team.
So that team's loaded.
You probably could have used a quarterback, but you don't need one right now, until Tua actually fails, and then they put in Teddy Two Gloves.
There's only one quarterback available, and it was Kenny Pickett. And I wasn't about to spend a first round pick on Kenny Pickett.
No, that's
Garrett
fine.
Wilson fell to me, which is amazing. He's the number one wide receiver to take.
Sure, but he still plays on the Jets.
Yeah. So if Zach Wilson has a bad year, he's getting a new quarterback next year.
So you got Mixon, Marlon Mack, Naheem, Hines, Damian Harris, Keyshawn Vaughn, Chris Evans. So
I would have liked a running back, but I knew one wasn't going to fall to me. Somebody made my choice a lot easier because they took Cooks at 5.
Yep.
And Brace Hall went 1, and Kenny Walker went like 4 or 5. So
3.
I knew he wasn't getting to me. So I was going to take Cooks at 6 just to have a running back, but Garrett Wilson fell down. So I will take a tier 1 wide receiver. No problem.
You need wide receiver help. Bad. Jesus, you need wide receiver help.
That's why I got Garrett Wilson and John Mechie.
I'm glad you think that those guys are going to carry you through. You have Noah Fant and Pat Fryermuth. Not bad. Not bad.
They're okay. I don't know if Pat Fryermuth will be as good as he was last year because I think Big Ben had like an affinity for tight ends.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Steelers' offense really revolves around him. So we'll see.
So
but he can catch.
I
call him
made a
Baby
trade.
Gronk.
I made a trade for the Pittsburgh quarterback. I got Trububsky.
Yeah, it's gonna do you well for like 4 games.
That's fine. When Deshaun Watson comes back, he'll
in 2023, 2024.
Maybe. He already sat out a year.
Yeah, I think they're gonna throw the book at him.
Maybe.
So the disciplinary committee is not Roger Goodell. It's like another lady who's doing it now, who used to be like a former prosecutor and stuff. So I think I think the NFL is going to do what they always do. They're going to weigh public opinion, and everybody sort of wants to see Deshaun Watson punished. So I think that's what they're going to do. I think he's going to serve no less than 8 games.
So Travis asked me what I'm going to do without him, and I was like, I already played without him. I already played him without him in both leagues this year, and I won one league and went to the finals in another. I think I'll be all right.
Yeah.
So in Hopper's league, though, I got a Pierce first rounder, the last pick of the first round because I won.
Yeah, he's okay.
Matt Corral, you know,
Shot in the dark, sure.
Tolbert. I'm excited about him, the Dallas wide receiver. Batty.
I think Dallas's offense can support a third wide receiver. They did for Cedric Wilson. He played pretty well. And Michael Gallup's coming off a torn ACL. And CeeDee Lamb's been healthy. So, I mean, Tolbert could be number 2 if Gallup doesn't recover well.
I got Tyler Batty on the Baltimore running back. I think he's going to be pretty good considering that all the Dallas running backs die in front of him. So he's going to be one of the breakout. Abraham Smith. And we're getting in later in the rounds. I got Bailey Zappi, and then the Mr. Irrelevant, Kate Otten, who is favored to replace Rob Gronkowski. So
wouldn't Cameron Brate step into that role?
They
or is he more of a blocker? But I do like Kate Otten as like a late round dart throw. It's a good pick.
Yeah. I mean, it was the last pick of the rookie draft. So
I do have a question since we do have a common pick.
Who do we got?
Haskins. What do you think about him? He's backing up Derrick Henry, and there's nobody else, and he is a house.
There's Dontrell Hilliard, who had at least one good game against the Patriots. I think it was.
That was Deontay Foreman, and he's down in Carolina now. And Deontay Foreman is a house too. He's like 6'2", 235. So anyway, Hassan Haskins, he's a Michigan guy, and Mike Vrabel's an Ohio State guy. So for him to draft him,
he had to grit his teeth a bit.
I think that says something. You must see something. And Derrick Henry got hurt for the first time last year. He's 28 now, 27, 28.
Yeah, and I think he's coming towards the end of his contract, right?
Yeah, he's got a lot of miles. So if an injury comes up, Hassan Haskins stepping right into that offense.
I think so.
And maybe he can catch a little bit more than Henry. Henry literally catches no passes. So if Hassan Haskins can catch 3 passes, it's more than Henry, even if it's just like a limited, like, I wonder if they're not going to split the load, but even if they did like 60-40 or something like that, like just for breathers, like,
I don't think it'll be that high. It'd probably be like a 70-30.
Sure. But imagine getting hit by Derrick Henry and then the next player getting hit by Hassan Haskins.
Yeah.
I'd have to click on him to see exactly what his
6'2", 228.
Yeah, he's a big boy, 230. Oof.
And then what is Derrick Henry? 6'3", 247. So he's a little lighter, but
anything over 225 for running back is big boy.
Yeah. So I ended up getting Pierre Strong, who's he's short, but he's a bowling ball, 5'11", 205. Calvin Austin, late in the 4th round. He's built like a slot receiver or a speedster. And he plays for Pittsburgh, so he's probably going to have a couple good years in there. And then Kennedy Brooks at the end of the 5th round. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, again, it's a dart throw at that point, but
Philly runs the ball a lot. It's just a matter of they got like 7 running backs. It's a weird situation, and their quarterback runs.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens.
But Miles Sanders, this will be his 4th year, so he's coming towards the end of his contract. I don't know if he's played his way into another. I don't know if he's played his way into a big contract. It would really depend on what he's looking for and what Philly's looking to spend.
I never liked Miles Sanders.
I
thought he was too small.
He's got a bunch of the measurables. I mean, he's short. He's 5'11", but he's 211 as well.
Yeah, I think I don't know, he plays small, but it could have just been the Philadelphia's offensive line sucks since their Super Bowl run.
Boston Scott is a guy they signed, but he's 5'6".
He's terrible too.
5'6", 203. Kenny Gainwell's in front of him, 5'9", 200. So
I like Kenny Gainwell. He can catch.
Yep.
So if you put him with Kennedy Brooks, that'd be a good combination in my opinion.
Sure.
Smitty, I'm trying to make a trade out there. I'm trying to trade Alvin Kamara, Brandon Ayuk, and Deebo Samuel.
Your trades are ridiculous. You want like 3 or 4 first round picks for DK.
Well, nobody wanted him, so I'll put out Deebo Samuel. He's number 3 last year.
Sure.
Anyway, I think DK will be fine. I think they'll find they might end up with Baker down the road, maybe. I think there was a rumor that Seattle might work out a long-term deal with Baker because they have the money. They don't have anybody else, not paying anybody else on the team. But I don't know if that'd be a good thing for them to do. Why take on Baker now? Why not just be bad and get the quarterback that you want next year?
Do you have any picks next year?
In which league?
I don't think that matters.
In your league, no. In Hopper's
you still
league,
don't
yes.
have any picks?
I got 2025 picks.
You didn't even have 2024 picks? Holy fuck.
No, but my team's loaded.
So loaded, you lost in the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah. So the Washington Commanders have some good news. So they locked up Terry McLaurin, who was holding out. So he's going to get total guarantee $53 million. He'll get $35 million. Was it at signing?
2 or 3? 3-year deal?
I don't know. I don't have it right in front of me, but his signing bonus is $28 million. Yeah, so he's going to make some money. He's really their best player, and they really like. What options did they have? It's really sort of been the rise of the wide receivers with AJ Brown going to. Well, it really started with Devontae Adams moving to the Raiders for big money, and who was the other guy who got a bunch of big money? Honey, AJ Brown went to Philadelphia.
Tyreek Hill.
He signed $100 million. Yeah, Tyreek Hill was the other one. He went to Miami, signed a huge deal. So they all sort of like raised the bar. And Terry McLaurin, Deebo Samuel, and DK Metcalf are sort of like that next tier that are all waiting to get paid. I want to say they all have like the same agent too. Like it's not a coincidence that they were all holding out. Well, anyway, that's a great deal for him. If they could just get him a quarterback, that'd be great. And I'm not sure if Carson Wentz is the answer. So now the Commanders have good news. So now there obviously has to be some bad news for the Commanders. Their owner, Dan Snyder, did not accept a subpoena issued by the United States House Oversight Committee investigating allegations he fostered a toxic work environment culture in his organization. So that's not unprecedented to refuse the subpoena. I guess like his lawyer's not around or something. And they sent back like other dates that like he could meet with them. But if they find that he's trying to like evade the subpoena, they can just hold him in contempt. So, but I'm not really sure what the oversight committee can really do to Dan Snyder. Unless they can really like prove they did something illegal. Because even if he does accept the subpoena, he could just go in there and plead the fifth and not say anything at all. And then also Roger Goodell said this week as well that like he can't do anything to Dan Snyder. The other owners would have to vote him out, which I think is coming sooner than later.
Shit. Red Sox just lost in the bottom of the 9th.
Oh, poor Red Sox. Gronkowski retired again. Yeah. I don't know what to really say besides he's the greatest tight end of all time. I mean, if you've been alive in the last 20 years, you know who Rob Gronkowski is. I think what really made him special was that he was an extra lineman when he was blocking. Like he wasn't a liability. So if you played him, with a small linebacker or like uh, somebody in the secondary, like you just run behind him and just bulldozes that person over. Or if you let that put in a bigger linebacker or defensive end on him, he just runs a route and catches the ball over him. Like the versatility was pretty good. What do you think about Gronk?
He's a fucking monster. I mean,
Yeah,
that one play, and you might remember this, but he had a one play where I think it was a D-back or a safety or somebody was pissing him off, and so Gronk blocked him out of bounds over like that little like half wall that they had going, and just kind of fucking showed him, listen, I only do this like half speed. If you want to get in front of the freight train, you're gonna have to fucking suffer the consequences. Basically, that one of my favorite plays of all time was Gronk doing that, like showing that guy that, listen, I'm bigger and stronger than you, and you're gonna get out of the way. But
he did it to somebody else too. Somebody else was pissing him off all game and kept holding him. And so like he blocked him out of bounds and like into one of those like cherry picker things that has a camera on it and just blocked him right into it. They didn't call a penalty or anything, but he just trucked the guy. Like, and that's what made Gronk great, is that he could block and catch. Usually you have one or the other. And nowadays, like
you don't even have a blocker.
Yeah, I forget what type of tight end they call it. But anyway, it's like a Jimmy Graham.
Like an H-back almost.
Yeah. Jimmy Graham doesn't block. You know, there's that. Basically, he's the big wide receivers now.
So
none of them really block.
He was so good because, I mean, for so many reasons, right? His blocking was great. His hands were amazing for how big he was. And him going down to catch a ball on his shoelaces was ridiculous.
Yeah, his catch radius was huge.
He's
pretty nimble for a guy his size. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, he really should go down as the greatest tight end of all time. And I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. So chances of him coming back though, I don't think so. I don't think he's gonna take a trip back. Nah.
I wrote it on there only because the bye week is in week 11.
I wrote it on the paper. No, week
11 is a good time. He'd be like, I missed OTAs, I missed all training camp, I missed the first half of the season. Obviously, things could change if there's an injury or something. Like he could come back. It also depends on how Tampa's doing. And it also depends if some guy named Tommy texts him and goes, "Hey, I need you."
Sure.
What if Tommy does that? Will Gronk say no, or will Gronk run out there with a Superman shirt and like, ugh?
I mean, is there a possibility in it? Sure. I think it's a low possibility though. I don't think he actually comes back. I think this is his last.
I think it's 50-50.
I think that was his last hurrah. Not that he didn't have any major injuries this time, but yeah, I mean, it's just, I just don't think he does it.
I'll back it up with something. I think he will come back during week 11 or somewhere around there, week 9, 10, whatever. I think he'll come back if Tampa Bay is playing well. And if Tommy calls him and goes, "This is my last year. This is my last run." I think that would be enough for Gronk.
But I think Tommy's going to be done after this year, after signing that fucking crazy deal at Fox.
Oh, exactly. That's why I think it's his last year. I think everybody sort of knows that. I think Gronk knows that. And I think Gronk knew that before he retired. It was sort of like a wink, wink. I just don't want to do the OTAs and training camp. Call me when you need me type of thing. I'll leave my phone on.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how his WWF career goes, or WWE. So there's not much to talk about in the MLB. The Red Sox are on fire, essentially. 19-6 in their last 25, and they're still down by 12 games. to the Yankees, which is ridiculous. That means
Yeah,
the
the
Yankees have
Yankees
been
been
playing
crushing
just
it.
as good or just had a much better start. The run differential, I had this open a minute ago. So the Red Sox run differential this year is like 60 runs, and the Yankees is 150.
150 right now. Yep.
So they've just been mashing. But the Red Sox are leading the wild card race, and they let a lot more teams in the playoffs now. So other than that, there's not a whole lot to talk about with the Red Sox. They're just killing it, but not really making up any ground.
They're second now because they literally just lost to Tampa or Toronto. Sorry.
Yeah, Toronto has basically identical record.
Yep. Toronto is up by a half game because they have one less loss.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it's good to see. Again, we've talked about it before. Baseball's just kind of brutal. I don't know that I can watch much of it, but
the Oakland A's have already lost 51 games this year.
Yeah.
Didn't the season just start
2 months ago?
Yeah, I guess they're almost halfway through.
All right, moving over to hockey. I can't believe the fucking Bruins extended Sweeney's contract. I'll tell you that for free.
Maybe upstairs likes what he does. I mean, he puts a good product on the field or ice.
I
don't like his drafting, but his trades have been decent.
Yeah.
And the signings have been good.
And we've talked about it, right? We've talked about those different items. I think if I was going to grade him, I'd say his signings of people under contract is an A. Signings of free agents is maybe like a B- or a C+. And
sure, and that's always harder because they'll go to teams that have more money. Not that the Bruins don't have any money, but salary cap,
And then his drafting, he's an F. His drafting has been terrible. Granted, it's not all on him. There's the scouting and all this stuff, but Charlie McAvoy and Jake DeBrusk are the only two first rounders that have made significant impact on their team since he took over in 2015.
They're not homegrown.
So, yeah,
but every GM has his pros and cons, and I think that his signing ability, or shrewd negotiating, whatever you want to call it, like he's got the core kind of locked up. I heard Patrice Bergeron's coming back.
Yeah, I saw a couple of reports. Be interesting to see how it works out.
I wonder if it had anything to do with not Sweeney, the coach leaving.
I think it did. Bruce Cassidy. There's reports that the guys didn't like him.
Or he lost the voice or whatever. Yeah. Lost the locker room.
All right. So getting back to Sweeney. So this is his first draft. They had pick 13, 14, 15. They pick.
How did you mess that up?
Jakob Zaboral, Jake DeBrusk, Zach Senyshyn. Zach Senyshyn doesn't play for the team anymore. Jakob Zaboral was hurt quite a bit of the year. And Jake DeBrusk, I mean, everybody knows where he's at. Brandon Carlo was a second-round pick. Great pick. Jakob Forsbacka Carlson, I think, is still in the system. Jeremy Lauzon's not. Daniel Vladar is not. And then, you're looking at fourth, sixth, and 7 round picks. Next year, Charlie McAvoy, first round pick. Obviously, great pick.
Nailed it.
Trent Frederick, also first round pick. Maybe didn't hit the mark on that one. I like Trent Frederick, but the guy seems to like this playoffs. What made him Trent Frederick is being a dickhead on the ice, and then he got sat and then just like kind of stopped. So, and then second round pick, Ryan Lindgren. He doesn't play for the team anymore because he plays for the New York Rangers. He's on their number 1 pair.
Oh.
Yep.
Did we
and then a
trade him
couple other
away?
guys. And they traded him away. I don't remember what the what group he was traded away in, but 2017, Uro Vakanainen, first round pick. He got traded away in this year's deal with Hampus Lindholm.
Is that a good deal?
Hampus Lindholm is amazing. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Jack Studnicka is still in the team. Jeremy Swayman was a 4th round pick. Great pick. And then a couple other guys late rounds.
So I'm fine with him using guys for blue chips to get, veterans.
Sure. I fully agree. But you also got to grow your own personnel, and you can't be just like trading away first round picks all the time, which I don't think they have a first round pick this year. So the younger guys, I'll say 2018 on.
Well, the Bruins haven't had to rebuild in years. They've just been trying to retool, and to do that, you have to give something up.
Sure.
So
I agree.
At some point, I think after Bergeron leaves or retires, they're gonna do an actual rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
Trade some people, get some young talent in there. I don't know who's going to be a good trade asset, but so we'll find out next year. If we don't win this year, Bergeron's last year probably.
I think it's going to anyway. What I'm really hoping is that I'm hoping that they are able to get Krejci back for a year as well.
Yeah, I heard about that, or rumored.
Yep.
That they go sign Krejci to play on the second line. Second line center is what they're missing.
Yep.
So let's get into the Stanley Cup final. So Tampa Bay versus the Avalanche. I wanted the Avalanche to win, and they did. They won in 6. But it was an incredible series. And for Tampa Bay to make that kind of run, they've basically played an extra 60 games the past couple of years, and then not to mention all the games they played this year. So to be in the Stanley Cup final 3 years running is amazing, but they sort of needed to win it to be a dynasty, but they could win it next year. But man, that would be incredible going 4 years in a row.
I think they're still a dynasty.
Winning 2 in a row?
And getting to a third in.
Sure. But you don't get half credit.
There's teams that haven't made the playoffs in a long time, so.
That's true. But I mean, I really like what Tampa's doing in this era. Like, it's unprecedented type of deal. Yep. I think they had the right coach. I think they had the right GM. I think they're making all the right moves. They just ran out of gas against a younger Colorado team.
Well, and we talked about it. They played before the series started. I think it was like, I wrote it down. I don't remember anymore. I think it was 62 extra games the last 3 years. You almost played another full season over the playoffs.
Every game was decided by 1 goal. 2 of them went to overtime. The only one that was not in overtime was game 2, where the Avs just shellacked them. Yeah, 7-0. But that's just an outlier.
Tampa won game 3. I think it was like 5-2.
Okay.
They waxed them pretty good.
But that usually happens. If you wax a team, there's a pretty good chance you're going to get waxed the next one. That always happens. But the rest of the games were hard fought. 2 of them went to overtime. And the other 2 were 1-goal games. Like, that's what you want in a Stanley Cup final. So
it was one of the better Stanley Cup finals in recent history. Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's good to see the Avs win. I thought they had the roster for it. That was good.
Third cup in franchise history. Cale Makar wins the Conn Smythe, which is a playoff MVP. So yeah, no, I mean, I was okay with either team winning. The only reason I was pulling for Tampa is the last time that somebody three-peat was in the 80s, and I like history shit like that. And
but the Rangers was that Edmonton.
That was neither. That was the Islanders from 79 to 83, I think it was. They won 4 straight.
Oh. But didn't Edmonton become a dynasty too? Didn't they win like
They did. They
maybe not 3 straight, but
they didn't win 3 straight. I think they went to 3 or 4 straight, but they only won 2, lost, and then won 1 or 2 after that, and then Gretzky got traded. But going to some NHL awards, I don't think we talked about this last time. Bergeron wins his 5th Selke Trophy.
amazing.
He now is he's the only person in history that has 5. And then he's also extended his lead into, I think it's 11 years being nominated. Or being a finalist. Finalist. Igor Shesterkin won the Vezina. Austin Matthews won the Ted Lindsay and the Hart, which was pretty cool. Like Ted Lindsay is it's the MVP, but it's voted on by the players. So,
What's the Hart Trophy?
Hart Trophy is the MVP, but it's voted on by the NHL Writers Association, maybe.
When would that ever be different?
So why would it be different? Because Ted Lindsay is voted on by the players, and maybe the players see that somebody is, a better player, different, whatever than what the Hart is. So, and then Cale Makar won the Norris before winning the Conn Smythe. So he brought home some hardware, which is pretty good this year. That guy is fucking good. That kid, he's a fucking kid. He's good. Other than that, I mean, moving over to some extracurriculars. I don't know if you've watched some of the shows. I watched all of The Boys, I think. I watched
Star Trek.
I didn't watch Star Trek, but I watched all of Obi-Wan Kenobi. That one was really good. And then I watched all of Shoresy too.
Have not gotten into that yet. I will.
You need to watch that. It's fucking ridiculous.
I've been plowing through Star Trek Discovery. I started watching Star Trek Picard because I want to watch Star Trek New Worlds, I think is a new series.
Okay.
Split off of Discovery where Captain Pike is flying the Enterprise. So I'll plow through all those. But yeah, Kenobi was really good, I thought. But there's only 6 episodes.
Yep.
It's kind of weak. So we have some golf coming up. Like I said, I went to the range and started hitting my clubs. I really like them. Like I said, I was trying to hit a draw and trying to hit a fade, and that's not too hard to do. I mean, I've never tried to hit them on purpose before, but draws and fades, they're not too bad. Straight ball's the hardest.
I'm excited. John talked me into playing an hour later than what I wanted to. So now Saturday, the food's just going to be ready an hour later.
No big deal. Are we playing Friday too?
No, I'm traveling home Friday, and I'm going to go to Sam's Club and get a bunch of shit Friday and get things geared up for Friday afternoon.
So I have a few days of talking into playing on Friday.
I mean, maybe, but I might be able to play like 9 at 6 o'clock, maybe.
We'll see.
Other than that, I mean, my flight lands at like 3:15. So, and then I got to go to Sam's Club, and then I want to prep everything so that.
Oh, your mic cut out now. Anyway, it's a good time to sign off. You can find our podcast on Apple Podcasts, also Spotify, Amazon Music, Stitcher, Podchaser, Buzzsprout, Google Podcast. You can now watch the episodes on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, New England Sports Guys. Make sure to subscribe and help us out. We'll be putting on more content as we go forward. You can hit us up on Twitter at NESG Pod and hit us up on Instagram at NESG_pod. Smitty, you back yet?
I
just want to
so.
thank. Yeah, you're back. I hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody listening, and I'm excited to play some golf on Saturday. Get some transfusions and get some trannies.
Yeah, you said that we're doing teams.
Yeah, we're gonna play from the tips too.
Good.
We can either draft when we get there because it's just going to be the four of us, or we can pick prior to getting there. But what we'll have to do is we'll have to decide, like, if it's you and John, I think you'd have to give me and Travis strokes.
What if it's me and you?
Then John and Travis would have to give us strokes.
Why would we have to give us strokes? Is it because John's that much better than us? I'm the worst.
I don't think so. I think you're pretty even with Travis at this point.
I wouldn't agree with that. He if he hits a bomb, like.
But then his approach shots are.
That just gives that other team 60 extra yards.
Yeah, but then his approach shots are hit or miss. So I don't know that it's. Your consistency, I think, trumps Travis's.
I mean, my consistency off the tee, maybe, but like if I get around the green, like I got chipping yips, like.
Oh yeah, you suck at chipping, but
that's a problem.
If it's you and me, I can take care of that. Don't worry. I've been putting pretty well. It wasn't great today. I mean, again, I had 37 putts, but
my putting's on the way up. When I shot that 93, I had a bunch of 1 putts and a bunch of 2 putts, and I think I only had 1 3 putt. So
I think I had 2 3 putts today, which was upsetting.
So that's where you score points, is around the green.
I actually so number 1, I hit a 4-iron off the tee, and then put a 7-iron on the green, and I 3-putt.
Yeah,
that was a great way to start the day. Was a 3 jacket after hitting green in regulation.
So the last time I played, I think it was windy, so I hit an iron off the tee, and then actually I think it went left into 18.
Yeah,
and then so I had to pitch back. Yeah, I had to pitch back over to our side, and then so I'm hitting 3 towards the green, and I did a U. I put it in the water. That's not usually an area I miss. I don't miss left into the water. Pulled a Smitty.
Yeah, you suck again.
Nobody puts in that water more than you do off of 1.
I actually hit the water on between 8 and 1 more often on 1 than I do 8.
I mean, you really should hit it.
And it's more prevalent on 8. It's like a bigger hazard.
Sure.
So, all right. Well,
anyway, I'm excited.
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited for golf on Saturday. I'm excited to see everybody hang out, drink some beers on Saturday. Other than that, I think that's it. I appreciate everybody listening this week. Yeah, I mean, I'd hit us up on any of these things if there's any topics you want us to talk about.
Yeah. Can't wait. Maybe we'll take a video or something from the golf. We'll see.
Well, we just have to remember not get too buckled.
All right.
Alrighty. I'll catch you later.
See you, man.
See you, buddy.